tubes, how's it going? I've been thinking about pickup culture recently. You know, the pickup artist thing. If you don't know, you should go and search it on Google. Jesus, it's a study in misogyny, really. It's like a group of men that will use any immoral psychological falsehood that they can to get laid, and with complete disregard for a woman's emotional well-being during or after the event. But I just find it really interesting because I don't think any of that shit would work on me. Not any of it. Basically, I have way too much self-respect. I know, I have no self-esteem, but I have enough self-respect to not get picked up by a pickup artist. It's an interesting phenomenon. And I'm sure that those men do successfully find that these psychological techniques work. But as someone that's been quite damaged by interactions with men, sexual interactions with men before, I just have a really, really deep distaste for it, and I feel very sorry for any woman that falls prey to one of these type of predatory, sexually incontinent men. But I find it quite interesting because a lot of men will say they won't go to a prostitute because they want, you know, it's a lot more fun when the woman actually wants to have sex with you, and it's not because you're paying her for it, it's because she actually wants to have sex with you. I would have thought that would extend to pickup artistry as well, that, you know, you'd feel somewhat less satisfied by having psychologically manipulated and falsely, you know, represented yourself to this woman. And wouldn't it be much nicer if you just kind of voluntarily wanted to have sex with you without coercion? I've been observing quite a lot of this recently because, as I say, university is a bit of a meat market. And case in point, actually, last night I was out on the town, as it were, and oh my god, it was debaucherous. I just managed to take my head off of the pillow at 3 in the afternoon. Had a great night, it was fucking wicked. But case in point though, my friend was there, let's call him Tom. No, let's not, because I'll forget his name, his false name by the time I get back to it. My friend was there, right, and he's a really nice computer science geek, just a really good guy, a really nice guy, that's never, you know, is not at all of the pickup artist kind of persuasion. He's just a really genuine nice guy. And then there was this other guy that started chatting me up next to the pool table in the uni bar. I can't talk. Next to the pool table in the uni bar, and then ended up coming out with us on the town. Initially to pursue me, but after he kind of realised my lack of interest, started pursuing this other woman. And he was going with all the kind of, you know, lines, and at one point he told her, "You have enormous breasts," at which point we both went out for a cigarette, like the guy's like a 14-year-old. That's clearly not pickup artistry, but I just mean, he was coming on really strong, basically. Even at the end of the night, I had to tell him straight up for this woman that she's not interested in you, because he kept inviting himself back to her house, and I had to tell him in the end, she's not interested in you coming back to her house, because she felt shy about it or something. Whereas my really nice friend, Mark, started off the night, you know, talking to a woman in a really respectful way, and spent the entire evening doing so, and by the end of the night actually went home with her. And I just like to, you know, point out that, you know, actually women are kind of wising up to this approach, and being hit on in a way that suggests to you immediately that they're only after sex is really not appealing. Whereas my friend that took the time to get to know her and treat her respectfully, and is clearly just a nice guy and not only in it for the sex, managed to go home with her. I kind of fell prey to a bit of an expert last week. There's this guy that's kind of well known for being sexually promiscuous at our university. I didn't know that until afterwards. I didn't even go there. I should finish that story first. I clearly didn't have sex with the guy. But he was a lot smarter about it. He was kind of pretending to go for the genuine, emotional, nice approach, but clearly with a view to having sex in mind. So at one point he complimented my outfit, another point he complimented my ring or something. He made a point of telling me how much he likes children and how much he loves his mother, who's a feminist. and that you wouldn't fuck with his mum and all of this sort of stuff. He was really kind of trying to work me out quickly and slot in those things that he knew that I'd like. I saw him coming, and I'm just not interested in it. And anyway, I'm just out of a long-term relationship, and I'm not looking for casual sex. I've had probably 5 offers in the last week and a half for casual sex. I'm not lacking in the ability to have casual sex. I'm just not interested right now. But that guy, he was a lot more subtle about it. And it's a lot harder for women to kind of tell those guys apart from the genuinely nice guys. And I think it's kind of sad, personally. I mean, at the end of the day, consensual adults, if you consent to the act, fair enough. I don't consider it to be rape to, be dishonest in picking up a woman, or to try to tailor what you say to what she's going to find sexually attractive. But I do find it somewhat unethical, and very, very unappealing. But anyway, this guy last night, not that good, the guy that was really good at picking women up, but I mean this guy last night was really trying to kind of get into someone's pants. One thing that's really unattractive is if you focus in on one woman, don't then swap to her friend halfway through the night. You've got to kind of pick your woman for the night and stick to it, I think. It's really not appealing for her to feel like she's the second option. And it completely confirmed for me that I'm not interested in people like that at all. But what happened to just being a nice person and showing a genuine interest in a woman's thoughts and feelings? Taking the time to talk to her and recognise her as a human being. For me, I'd much rather throw the nice geeky guy a bone, so to speak. I'd much rather have sex with the nice geeky guy that probably doesn't get laid that often than the guy that gets laid every night of the week, who uses immoral techniques to get there. I don't know if that's true of most women. I hate it when people talk about most women. I do it too, of course. It's very difficult to hold discussions on gender and gender roles without somewhat generalising. But I'm always being told that this is what women want, this isn't what women want. And yet, as a woman, when I try to tell you what I want, people say either that I am a statistical infrequency, I'm abnormal, or I'm being dishonest about what I really want. And there's a parallel, there's a line I draw here. It's like, I don't just have sex with someone if I find them sexually appealing. I have to find their personality appealing too. I have to judge them to be a good person, a nice person. Because it's not enough just to find someone sexy for me. And I'm not talking about getting into relationships, I'm talking about one-night stands. I won't have one-night stands with people that I judge to be treating me as though I'm not smart enough to see through the bullshit, or treating me as though, they're entitled to my vagina and I'm just the kind of unfortunate, the unfortunate attachment to my vagina or something. My personality is just unfortunate, but it has to be got around. It's really unappealing. I was just wondering, what do men take from casual sex anyway? I mean, clearly you get to have sex, you get to come. Okay. In 3 or 4 hours or 24 hours or however long, you're not just going to need to have sex again, is it? I don't think it is about having sex. I think it's about ego. It's about what it means that you had a woman have sex with you. But again, if you're using these pickup artist kind of techniques, doesn't it feel just a little bit like she didn't want to have sex with you unless you had to psychologically manipulate her into it? I'd find it much more satisfying to just be myself and have a woman want to have sex with me. People are going to say, like, well, there are a lot of people that, can't have women, that don't get women that want to have sex with them, that have to use these kind of techniques. But it's like, sorry, some people are more sexually appealing than others. I don't think that means that you should therefore take it as your entitled role to then use unethical psychological manipulation to get women to have sex with you. I can't think of very many physical attributes that would mean that women would not be willing to have sex with you if you had a good enough personality. I find the attributes of the personality attributes of confidence, a sense of humour, a sense of moral reasoning, code, a moral code, much, much more appealing than guys that think that they're all that call me a girl when they come and talk to me. You seem like a nice girl. I hear that all the time. Yeah, that's really like a good way to get struck off my sex list immediately. I nearly got punched in the bar last night by this guy because I was really drunk. I'd had 12 rum and cokes at this point, I believe. Started drinking at 3 in the afternoon, and this was after midnight in a club. But this guy came up to me and said, "Excuse me, I've just got to tell you, you're a really attractive girl. Can I shake your hand, please?" And I shook his hand and said, "Wow, you really must be drunk." By which I meant, you're so drunk that you're seeing me as attractive. But he immediately interpreted as me saying, you must be drunk to think that I would ever fucking go there with you. And he just gave me this look, like, for a minute there, like all the bitterness he held about women generally wanted to come out and punch me in the face in that moment. It was quite funny anyway. It was a complete accident. I feel I need to exercise the memory here on YouTube because I'm really embarrassed about it in hindsight. I wasn't trying to say that I'm out of your league. I'm trying to say I'm really not attractive. But there was a moment last night. I mean, I'm not, as I say, I'm not looking for casual sex at all. If I want to have casual sex, I can find it with reasonable ease. It's one of the perks of being female. And 24. But I admit there was a moment when I looked around last night and realised that everyone of this social that I'd gone out with had paired up and were making out in corners, and I was just kind of sitting there on my own, like, nobody hit on me. Which was illogical because the guy that ended up trying to get with the girl with supposedly enormous tits had already tried that night, and a couple of other people had already kind of made a few moves that I'd repelled at that point. So it was kind of stupid. And then afterwards we went to this other club. It just got more debaucherous. And my friend that I went with was getting off with this girl, this woman. And at that point I kind of felt a bit like a third wheel, you know, because it was like, well, I mean, at least we're at a gay club, so I did kind of go and dance. I don't mind dancing on my own in gay clubs so much. If you do that in a straight club, you just get swamped by greasy, slimy guys. I don't know, I mean, presumably, oh man, I've spoken for 13 minutes, Jesus. Presumably, like, guys might have some interest in what what women want when you're hitting on them. But I personally find the sexiest thing is to come up in a respectful manner, introduce yourself, ask her some questions about herself, keep your fucking distance, give me my personal space, okay? I'll indicate to you clearly with my body language when I want you in my personal space, but you should really not try to touch women before they've given you those indications. It's such a turn off. But a sense of entitlement is an even bigger turn off. And even bigger than that is a really loosely veiled psychological manipulation is a massive turn off. Just be genuine, man. Jesus, like, I really don't know very many people that are so physically unappealing that if they came up with the right approach, I would just instantly reject them. I'm so surprised when I find men with the right approach that I'm immediately interested in them. What you might want to do is exploit that little gap in the market where women are so used to being damaged and used by men using pick-up artist techniques and only wanting them for one-night stands, even though they may indicate they want more to get into her pants, that if you come across as a nice, genuine guy, you're going to be like 1 in a million. She's going to try and hold on to you. Anyway, I find it interesting and thought I'd share my thoughts. Oh, I've just had an afterthought as well. Shaky Surgeon, I haven't forgotten about you, man. You made some really interesting points in your video in response to my last video. And you should all go and check out Shaky Surgeon because he totally rules. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm not ignoring the video. I've just been really busy recently, and I want to make a good job of it, and I just wanted to kind of splurge onto YouTube today. I hope you don't mind, and I hope you're all well. Bye.